Hi, it's Zarek Daniel from USA Math Ministry and Organization. I will upload the version 2 because for me it's very important to really explain part of this multi group company. It's just not one group, it's a combination of couple of groups under the ruler of Satan himself. Satan exists and we need to believe in this kind of concept. And right now I have a clear shot, so we're gonna both go through this 21 goal and read it, and then I might put the music or some editing, and that's gonna be the version 2 because for me it's very important. So I will edit the other one, version 1, and this is version 2, and we all go through it. 21 Goals of Illuminati and the Committee of 300 by Dr. John Coleman. As you see, there is a link, regarding to his information. Number 1, to establish one world government, new world order with a unified church and monetary system. Under their direction, the one world government began to set up its church in its 1920s and 30s, for they realized the need for a religious belief inherent in mankind must have an outlet, and therefore set up a church body to channel that belief in the direction they desired. Number 2, to bring about the utter destruction of all national identity and national pride, which was a primary consideration if the concept of one world government was to work. Let me put the charger because I don't want to lose power. I need to, it is like amazing that, I'm just in a situation. They put me in a situation, they don't want me to read you, these guys. So we read the number 2. Number 3, to engineer and bring about the destruction of all religion, and more especially the Christian religion, with the one exceptions, their own creation, as mentioned above. They own they own created they can create whatever they want to direct their own religion to whatever they want. It might be Christianity, it might be Islam, to the new world order religion through that religion. 4, to establish the ability to control of each and every person through means of mind control, and what Zygmunt Brzezinski called technotronics, which would create human-like robots, and a system of terror, which would make Flex Dremsky Red Terror look like children play. So, this tells that Nikol Pashinyan, the president of Armenia, and lots of other people, they even don't know they're already cloned. To bring about the end of all industrialization and the production of nuclear generated electric power in what they call the post-industrial zero-growth society. Expected, and the computer and service industries, U.S. industries that remain will be exposed to countries such as Mexico, where abandoned slave labor is available. As we saw in 1993, this has become a fact through the passage of a North America Free Trade Agreement known as NAFTA. Unemployables in the United States in the wake of industrial destruction will either become opium, heroin, and or cocaine addiction, or become a statistic in the elimination of the excess population process we know of today as Global 2000. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit, my readings are not clear, but I am reading, to encourage and eventually legalize the use of drug and make pornography an art form, which will be widely accepted and eventually become quite commonplace. 7. To bring about depopulation of large cities according to the trial run carried out by Pol Pot regime in Cambodia. It is interesting to note that Pol Pot's genocidal plans were drawn up in the US by one of the Club of Rome's Research Foundation and overseen by Thomas Enders, a high-ranking State Department official. It is also interesting that the committee is currently seeking to reinstate the Pol Pot butchers in Cambodia, in Yerevan, in all the around the world. So this whole, I'm not going to name specific group. So do you see how engineered and how nice they genocide people for their demonic purpose? To suppress all scientific development except for those deemed beneficial by the Illuminati, specially targeted its nuclear energy for peaceful purpose. Particularly hated are the fusion experiments currently being scorned and ridiculed by Illuminati and its jackals of press. Development of the fusion torch would blow the Illuminati's concept of limited natural resources right out of the window. A fusion torch probably used could create unlimited and as yet untapped natural resources, even from most ordinary substances. Fusion torch uses the lesion and would benefit mankind in a manner which as yet it's not even remotely comprehended by public. I mean, this means they have a lot of source of energy. Ethereum. You have a cryptocurrency Ethereum. Ether is a layer of air that creates electricity. So they're using free everything from the God and selling you to you. This is Satan. This is Satan's agent. These Freemasons, this Illuminati. 9. To cause by means of limited wars in the advanced countries, by means of starvation and diseases in the third world countries, and especially right now all over the world by coronavirus, to death of 3 billion people by the year 2050. 3 billion, it's going to be much more than that. People they call useless eaters. The Committee of 300, the Illuminati, commissioned Cyrus Vance to write a paper on this subject of how to bring about such genocide. The paper was produced under the title Global 2000 Report and was accepted and approved for action by former President James Earl Carter and Edward Muskie, then Secretary of State for and on behalf of United States government. Under the term of the Global 2000 Report, the population of the U.S. is to be reduced by 100 million by the year of 2050. 10. To weaken the moral fiber of a nation and to demoralize workers in the labor class by creating mass unemployment. Such jobs dwindle due to the post-industrial zero-growth policies introduced by the Club of Rome. The report envisages demoralized and discouraged workers resorting to alcohol and drug. The youth of the youth of the land will be encouraged by means of rock music and drug to rebel against the state and co, though undermining and eventually destroying the family unit. In this regard, the committee commissioned Tavistock Institute to prepare a blueprint as to how this could be achieved. Tavistock direction Stanford Research to undertake the world under the direction of a Professor Wills Harmon. Beth Harmon, right? The chess player in Netflix. This work later became known as a Aquarium Conspiracy. 11. To keep people everywhere from deciding their own destinies by means of one created crisis after another and then managing such crises. This will confuse and demoralize the population to the extent where faced with too many choices, apathy on a massive scale would result. In the case of the United States, an agency for crisis management is already in place. It is called the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, whose exercise I first encouraged in 1980. 12. To introduce new cults and continue to boost those already functioning, which include rock music, gangsters such as the Rolling Stone, a gangster group much favored by European black nobility, and all of the Tavistock created rock groups which began with the Beatles. Number 13, to continue to build up the cult of Christian fundamentalism began by the British East Indian Company servant Derby, which will be misused to strengthen the Zionist state of Israel by identifying which the Jews through the myth of God-chosen people and by donating very substantial amount of money to what they mistakenly believe in religious cause in the furtherness of Christianity. Number 14, to press the spread of a religious cult such as the Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim fundamentalism, the Sheikhs and the Sikhs are Indian, and to carry out mind control experiment of the Jim Jones and Son of Sam type. It is worth noting that the late Khomeini was a creation of a British military intelligence Division 6 MI6. The detailed work spelled out the step-by-step process which the US government implemented to put Khomeini in power. Not even Khomeini, but the religion of Islam. And Illuminati even himself created by Armenian Grigor Illuminator. So Armenians are part of it. We are people who are ruling this process. And we are killing in some point our own people to not people know that we were behind it. Why? Because we killed the two disciples of Jesus Christ. So who is the most demonic people? The Armenians. I'm not offending all Armenians or all Jews or people who are involved with this Illuminati, but it's the fact. And if you're not going to accept the fact that any people can be wicked, so please open your eyes and accept the fact. 15. To export religious liberation ideas around the world so as to undermine all existing religions, but more especially the Christian religion. This began with the Jesuit liberation theology that brought an end to the Somoza family rule in Nicaragua, which today is destroying El Salvador, now 25 years into a civil war. Costa Rica and Honduras and all are also embroiled in revolutionary activities. Indignated by Jesuits. On every active entity engaged in the so-called liberation theology. It is communist-oriented. Many Mary Null mission. This accounts for the extensive media attention to the murder of 4 of Mary Null so-called nuns in El Salvador a few years ago. The 4 nuns were communist subversive agents, and their activities were widely documented by the government of El Salvador. The U.S. press and the new media refused to give any space or coverage to the massive documentation process by Salvadorian government, which proved what the Mary Null mission nuns were doing in the country. Mary Null is in service in many countries and placed a leading role in bringing communism to Rhodesia, Mozambique, Angola, and South Africa. So you know why MS-13 lives there and create these gangs to cover up their killing. And even I know that God bless Monte Melkonian, but they create, let's say Monte is my hero, but that hero is killing exactly the evidence of inside of Turkey. There were people who were going to expose Armenian genocide, but group like Asala, they are killing those the Turks not to give evidence. Same thing happens in El Salvador. These are all connected. 16. To cause a total collapse of the world's economies and engender total politic chaos, order out of chaos. 17. To take control of all foreign and domestic policies of United States. 18. To give the fullest support to supranational institutions such as the United Nations, the International Monetary Fund, the Bank of International Settlement, the World Court, and as far as possible make local institutions less effective by gradually phasing them out of bringing them under the mantle of the United Nations by the coronavirus and global warming. Greta Thunberg. 19. To penetrate and subvert all government and work from within them to destroy the sovereign integrity of nations represented by them. I mean, are you kidding me? 20. To organize a worldwide terrorist apparatus and to negotiate with terrorists wherever terrorist activities take place. It will be recalled that the Bitno Croxy, who preceded the Italian and U.S. government to negotiate with Red Brigade's kidnappers of Prime Minister Moro and General Dozier. As an aside, Dozier was placed under strict order not to talk what happened to him. Should he ever break that silence, he will no doubt be made a horrible example of in manner in which Henry Kissinger dwelt with Idol Moro, Ali Buhino, and what is that line there? I mean, maybe I put this line. Ali Buhino and General Zia Haq. This is my mistake. 21. To make control of education in America with the intent and purpose of utterly and completely destroying it. By 1993, the full force effect of this policy is becoming apparent and will be even more destructive as primary and secondary school begin to teach outcome-based education. OBE. So this was a goals of Illuminati, and I mean, they're a little bit kind that they're gonna kill 3 million to 3 billion, so that's kind of them. But this was it. Thank you for listening. USA Math Ministry and Organization signing off.